Hello and welcome to today's event. Before we start, we'd like to bring your attention to a brand new project that needs your help. Settle Stories faces unprecedented funding challenges. Storyful is our new and vital project that has been designed to help and support the mental well-being of children, and it needs funds to thrive. We need to raise £16,000 to support the programme. The new initiative combines storytelling and mindfulness and aims to combat the 25% rise in children's mental health problems since the pandemic's onset. Triggered by a bullying incident in our local rural community, our incredible CEO, Sita developed Storyful to inspire young people to build courage, respect, and resilience. Sita has poured her heart, soul, and extensive knowledge and training into developing Storyful, and has even taken to shaving her head into a pink Mohican to raise much needed funds. The programme is peer reviewed by Sheffield Hallam University psychologists and collaborates with renowned educationists. It's not just an academic endeavour, it's a lifeline for those struggling with poor mental health. Your contribution, however small, makes a big difference. We are grateful for any help you can provide in creating a lasting impact on the lives of many. Not all heroes wear capes.
Hey, Lynne, it's so exciting to be here, isn't it?
It is.
It's the first Saturday of the festival and it's going to be a bumper 2 weeks. We opened yesterday and it was brilliant. Wasn't Reg Muro's fantastic?
Fascinating. I learned so much.
I know, and the songs were wonderful. And for those of you who haven't caught it, there's plenty of time for you to still catch it on Catch Up. So if you go to the YFOSFestivalStory.com page and go to Watch Now, you'll find the link to be able to go and see the show, and I'd really encourage you to do it. Well, it's exciting. This year we've got a festival provocation, which is speaking truth to power. It's so important, isn't it, these days? I mean, in the crazy world that we're all in, the importance of story has never been more important. And we want to thank all of you out there for all the help that you've given us, helping us survive during the pandemic, but as well through the pre-show video we've explained, we are looking for much needed funds. So if you can contribute, we'd really appreciate it. So in terms of the festival this year, what are you looking forward to, Lynne?
Oh, everything, I think, but particularly Jeremy Dyson next weekend. I want him to sign my book, I'm hoping. Miss Nobodies, because they are hilarious, and Gav's coming in this afternoon. I'm really excited.
That's brilliant. With Telltale Twit, he's such a funny storyteller, isn't he?
Is. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to Marina Warner, who's been a hero of mine for many, many years, and she's coming up to settle next weekend. And then I've got an in conversation with her. And tonight, Debs Newmold is bringing her fabulous show, King Lear Retold. So that's going to be both in person, if you happen to be one of the lucky people here in Settle, like we are, or indeed online. So do check that out as well. Yeah. And I guess the next thing I'm also looking forward to for this coming week is Hand on the Sun with Tariq Mahmood. It's the 40th anniversary of the publishing of the book, which was first published by Penguin. And it tells a gripping story about a young man who, faced with challenges, racism, all kinds of things, actually found the light through the library and stories. Stories and books are so important to all of us.
Yes, very, very important.
So this morning we've got the announcement of the children's story competition. Yay. And we have got the wonderful Atanuke, who's written this fabulous new book, Brilliant Black British History. And she did a show for us for our Stories for Schools program just a few weeks ago, which was great, very well received. And Atanuke has been reading those wonderful stories that were sent in by children from all over the country. So please put your hands together to welcome Atanuke to the YFOS stage. Morning, Atanuke. It's great to see you here and all those fabulous books behind you as well.
Oh.
It makes me feel at home. There's nothing like being surrounded by stories and books. So tell us what you made of the competition this time, Atanuke.
Well, it was an honor to read everybody's stories. I wanted to say congratulations to every single person who submitted a story to the competition. It's really, really brave entering a competition, because when you enter, you hope that you will win, and you know that you might not win. And when we don't win, we can feel all sorts of hard feelings. So it's such a brave thing to do, to enter a competition. But I wanted to say to everybody whose stories I've read that every single person who entered this competition is a winner, because they were brave enough to enter. And actually, if you don't win first place or second place or third place or even come as a runner-up, that is not failure. Failure would have been not entering the competition in the first place, not putting the work in on your story, not being brave enough to risk. So I hope you can all feel super proud of yourself. Please, everybody, keep writing. The only way to get better at writing is by keeping on writing, and also reading and rereading everything that you love. So the stories that stood out for me were really had three things that really stood out. Stories with original ideas that really made my brain like fizzy with excitement. There were stories with dazzling original ideas. The second thing was stories with really great structures. I feel like a reader really needs to feel that they're in safe hands. So stories that began with an image or an idea or a question, and then through the story came full circle and ended with a development of that idea or repetition of that word or an answer to that question. So those were really satisfying stories to read. And then thirdly, stories that used really natural vocabulary. I think as writers, we are often tempted to use as many complicated and clever words as we can. But stories that read best are stories that use natural language, the language that you would use, that you use when you're talking, and maybe with the occasional unusual word, but only when absolutely necessary. Because otherwise what happens is the readers start to trip over the words, and actually the words cover the ideas. So the stories that stood out for me were ones where the language really flowed, and what shone were the ideas in the story rather than strings of complicated images. So yes, that is my...
So I'd love to know, Atanuke, when you said the ideas, what were some of the ideas that you found particularly interesting?
Well, some of those ideas were to do with the setting of the story. So there were some sci-fi stories that were entered. Other ideas were more to do with the emotional development of the character. So there was really high emotional literacy in some of the stories, where I could really feel that the characters were being tested, and I wondered, were they going to succeed or were they going to fail? And really it was to do not so much with their actions but with their emotional decisions.
That's really interesting. So, well, I think perhaps now is the time for us to have a drum roll, and let's have the first prize. So tell us, who won the first prize for the children's story competition, YFOS 2023?
Well, the winning story is called The 101st Child by Holly, age 11. This
Wonderful. Well done, Holly. That's fantastic. And Holly will win a book token, and her story will be read by a professional storyteller and recorded and linked to a tree in a forest in Kenya. We're so excited about that. And so who won the second prize?
The second prize is called The First Made Up Thing by Marseille, aged 9.
Ooh, well done, Marseille. The First Made Up Thing. What a fantastic title. And third prize?
Third prize went to a story called The Best Revolutions by Chloe, aged 12.
Well done, Chloe, for The Best Revolutions. And then I think we've got 3 runners up, haven't we?
We have, because the stories were so brilliant that it was very hard. It was very hard to pick. But so we have some runners up. The first one is a story called Notre Dame is Dead by Amber, age 10.
Well done, Amber, for Notre Dame is Dead.
And the second runner-up went to a story called Allegra and the Secret of Colours by Allegra, age 7 3/4.
Well done, Allegra.
And the third runner-up went to a story called Day of Promised Power by Maddie, aged 8.
Day of Promised Power, Maddie, that sounds fabulous. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Atanuke. That's really brilliant. But before we let you go, we would love it if you shared with our audience the story, Holly's story, the winning story for this year's story competition. So sit back, everyone, and listen to the fabulous story from Holly, read by the wonderful Atanuke, who's a fabulous writer and a wonderful storyteller too.
Once upon a time, before Earth was called Earth, a planet existed. This planet was called Livenia and was in the far reaches of the universe. Livenia was known by its neighboring planets as the world of peace, harmony, beautiful mountains, and lush fields. Livenia had exactly 100 people living on it, as did each planet, and was allowed no more. One day, the 101st baby was born. Salma awoke with a yawn while the sun's rays streamed through the window. Her first meal and clothes were prepared and laid out on the table as always. Salma sighed and readied herself for yet another day of hiding from the world around her. Now aged 12, she remained the 101st resident and so had to stay hidden or face dreadful consequences. Salma heard the door close as her mum left for a day of work, supervising the crop pickers out in the fields. Stiffly, she pulled a book out from under her bed and started to read. Hours went by until suddenly Salma heard a shout, a scream, and a slam. Cautiously, she left her room and peered out of the window. Salma gasped, immediately covering her mouth, but it was too late. A soldier looked up with a sharp stare, his eyes widening as he caught sight of Salma. She ran up to her bedroom and hurriedly stuffed some essentials into her bag before running out of the back door. Heart pumping, Salma raced through the narrow streets, swerving around bikes and traders and ducking under shop signs. What could she do, and where could she go? Salma remembered her mum showing her the controls of the cargo rocket in the crop fields. She quickly left the back streets and headed towards the community farm. The farm was deserted and the rocket was full of fuel. Salma had read books on rockets and knew how to fly them. She would have to be quick, though. She could hear the soldiers' boots thundering down the street behind her. Salma took a deep breath, and with a scream of extreme terror, she took off into space. She was flying an actual rocket. Salma couldn't have been happier. She was out of the house and her hidden room and flying through space. Out of the windows, Salma could see large balls of light mixing into purples and blues and pinks. It was beautiful, breathtaking, and magical all in one. In the distance, Salma could see a planet, or what looked like a planet, although it was absolutely tiny. Coming closer, she could see it was green and blue, with a white mist swirling around the outside, clouds and forests and sea. The sensors indicated that the air was safe to breathe, so Salma landed the rocket and took a look around. Was it deserted? Salma still had her favourite book, which was written by someone called Maya Earth. Instantly, Salma knew what she was going to call this planet: Earth.
That's wonderful. What a fantastic story. No
It's a
wonder the
fantastic
holiday.
story. Yes, I wish I could have read the stories of all the winners and the runners-up, because really they are a fantastic collection. And I think it should be available online for people to enjoy.
And they certainly will be, because the audio versions of those stories will be available online for everyone to be able to listen to, because it is just wonderful. And it's so lovely to see young people who are going to be our next generation of writers and storytellers already writing such lovely stuff now. Really, really enjoyed that very much. So let's just tell you a little bit more about what's coming up later today. So what's happening later today, Lynne?
Well, we've got our favourite funny man coming in to settle. Gav Cross is here for Telltale Twit, and I'm sure we're all going to be laughing our socks off. I know I will.
Yes, I certainly will too. And then this afternoon online, there is also a workshop with Annabelle Castano, the Subversive Tale.
Yeah.
And then King Lear this evening with Debs Newbold, and then don't forget the Beowulf, the podcast, our lovely podcast that's running through this year's festival, which started last night, so you can still catch up on that too. We've got tomorrow Undocumented, a search for the American dream with Nesta Gomez. This is a fabulous new piece of his which tells the stories of him traveling from Guatemala and coming to the US and as an undocumented migrant and sharing his stories. And next weekend we've got lots of stuff for children as well. What have we got next weekend for children?
Oh wow, the Cowfoot Prince at Skipton Town Hall.
Absolutely wonderful.
Looking forward to him, and Pippi Longstocking.
Yes, there's two fabulous events in person here in the Dales, for those of you who are around, who will be able to really enjoy some fabulous kids shows. So finally, just a note, a reminder that thanks first of all for everyone who has donated. Thank you very much. We've raised just over £2,000 so far in the run-up to the festival and donations from last night. And we hope to continue to reach our target of 16,000. If you are able to donate and help us to keep YFOS free and also to support our very important work with children and mental health, then please either go to yorkshireFestivalstory.com/donate, or you can text to YFOS10 to 70450 to donate £10. And there will be links put as well into the chat for this. And then don't forget, there's loads of lovely books to buy in our bookshop, including this fabulous book of Atanuke's. And it just leaves us to say thank you so much, Atanuke, for all your hard work reading those wonderful stories.
Well, thank you. It was an honor to read them. Really, there were so many fabulous ones.
Oh, that's so good. We're really good to hear. And your prizes will all be winging off to you, and do stay in touch. And we look forward to seeing more of you at festival events. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.